Good evening, everybody. Today we have Purvi, Soha, and Radhika with us, joining us on this Mother's Day special at the Women Inspiring Network. Women Inspiring Network was formed during the pandemic, and we've had a great journey on the Women Inspiring Network, where we've had 30 million reach. It's an inspirational storytelling platform, and it's a movement to pay it forward. Today, we are, of course, going to be discussing about mompreneurs inspired by their mothers to develop their own businesses. And the session has been brought to you by Inveda. As you all know, that every successful person has had a parent who supported and believed in them. So we are talking to entrepreneurs whose moms paved the way for their groundbreaking success by teaching them the values, determination, and work ethic that they need to thrive. We at Women Inspiring Network are very proud to be hosting this session. And as you all know, Purva Gandhi, she's an occupational therapist and intervention coach that works across the lifespan of an individual, helping them with setting appropriate goals according to one's need. Therefore, the patient can be toddlers, young adults, middle-aged professionals, or senior citizens. Soha Parikh, who's joined us today, is the director of Raycon Group, an Indo-German venture and the co-founder of one of the earliest co-working spaces in Mumbai, Workloft. She's taking forward the legacy which was inspired by her mother, an entrepreneur and founder of Anhata Organics, a yogini, a mountaineer, and philanthropist. That is Radhika for you. And, you know, she was just telling us about her mountaineering journey. And in your own words, Purvi, why don't you tell us about your journey and, throw some light on that?
My journey was, my mom was kind of inspired me quite a bit for taking the profession that I am in. So there were like choices laid down and I had to choose and pick. And she had kind of researched. Now, as an occupational therapy was not really so, people were not really so well aware of that in that times when I did it. But she kind of foresaw that it's going to have an impact of that. So I kind of joined in with the understanding that, okay, I have to go to the hospital and I'm going to be wearing that coat and I'm going to be dealing with patients. That kind of fascinated me because that's what I had dreamt of doing. So I kind of just went along with the flow and it's been superb. I think I've really found my passion. It has been a really roller coaster ride, but I'm just in love with it for what I do because it just has nurtured me. I've grown with it and it's just been a fantastic journey so far now.
And Soha, in your own words, tell us about your journey.
Sure. So growing up, I've always seen my mother working and striking a balance in the house as well as in her work. And when you're staying in a joint family where everybody's working and everybody's contributing to the family life as well as to the work life. And when you see your mother do it, I guess it's always an inspiration to see and emulate what your mother has been doing her whole life. And having that feeling that you are independent financially, that also adds to the power, as my mother would say it, that be independent in every which way you can. And that gave rise to my entrepreneur skills and getting married into a family that is also full of entrepreneurs. So they just added more to it. And that's how I began. And I started my co-working space, Workloft.
Lovely. And Radhika, tell us about your journey.
Well, it's amazing to listen to all of you, and it feels amazing to be part of this conversation. I've had a very simple life. I've taken each day as it comes. I haven't really planned my career. I have never planned to do what I'm doing right now. I just feel that I just learned to listen well and just took my path along those instincts, and I'm right here. And that's how I live my life even now. But of course, now I've become better at planning, setting up goals, running an industry. I've never ever thought I'd have 2 manufacturing units, and here I am. So I've just taken it casually, easily, and like everybody else, like we all have our ups and downs, I've just enjoyed the journey, whatever it has led me to. Yeah, that's that about me.
And I know earlier we were talking about and how I have done Rainbow Mountain with my girlfriends on Peru. But, it's really, every sport is very, very important. So tell me something. Have your mothers helped you in setting up your career besides education and helping you all out?
I think
Anybody go first?
I'll start. So I come from a very traditional Tamil Brahmin family. And my mother, the biggest inspiration she has given me is just to how to love whatever comes your way. I think that's what I've heard from her. She herself had a lot of her very dramatic ups and downs in her life, starting from her financial issues to her losing her mother, like a movie, But in spite of that, I have seen her taking care of us, taking care of families through financial nitty-gritties, through comfort, through discomfort. I think that's the biggest inspiration. I have learned to work very hard physically seeing her. And I think today, if I'm able to kind of don a lot of hats, which people say I do, but I think every woman does it, I feel it's because of her. Definitely because of her.
And what about you, Purvi?
My mom is like, she's not really helped me in terms of like taking care of my kids or anything like that. But she's been a true inspiration in the sense of I've watched her, maintaining the work. And we used to live in a huge joint family. So maintaining that balance between the relationships, plus just pulling up the work. She used to just handle a plumbing shop. It was a small thing, but the way she kind of pulled it up, I've grown seeing all those things. And at the same time, taking care of us, providing everything that we really need, and giving us a space of our own. So I think those are the skills which have really been instilled. And I think I'm just using them to go forward. Seeing her that not to be down, even if, failures come, it's okay because they are part and parcel. You can just grieve a little bit, get upset, but get up again. So I've seen her doing that, which is so inspiring, that whatever comes, just get up, do whatever, take your time, but get up again to face it. Because I remember her saying that, the world is huge. It has space and work for every one of us. So don't be disheartened with anything. I've seen her do that. So it's been great inspiration for me.
What are your thoughts, Soha?
So growing up, something that I really tend to, I think, emulate from my mother is the question of being consistent and patient. It's a consistency was the key, that you keep on repeatedly doing or trying things in whichever way. Like consistency was the main thing. And of course, they landed up in being a patient person, right? So things don't come easy. And I think that I felt was emulated to the core was we had the co-working space work club started in Mulund in 2015. And one of the first in India, if I'm not mistaken. Of course, we had WeWork earlier there. I started the second one at Church Gate 1 month prior to the pandemic. So I started on the 20th of Feb and 20th of March, we went into a lockdown. So that was really not very easy, but I guess what my mother had taught me about having patience and consistently trying things did inspire me to go on. And at the moment, I can say we are very much in a good position as far as the new work loft is concerned. Of course, the other one has been doing well since a number of years. So I guess that was inspiration that did draw from my mother.
Lovely.
Can I just add something to this?
Sure.
Yeah, so the similar thing happened with me also when I used to have a clinic space at Kemp's Corner. Then I shifted to a bigger place at Tardev, and I just opened it in Feb 2020. And March, we locked down.
Same thing.
So
I think the same thing happened.
I mean, yeah, it was very disheartening for me. Because
December, January decided to kind of go ahead with it. February, set everything up, brought all the ingredients to experiment. March, we went on a lockdown. So that's a very similar story.
Yes, there's a consistency, I guess, and the patience to be there that things should be okay.
Yeah. So in fact, I run a communication business, and I used to be in Bombay, and I had started it when I was 23. And our second, I like to call the second baby was born, which is the Women Inspiring Network, in April of the pandemic 2020. So I just feel, yeah, and that personally kept me so inspired in my team, and hearing everybody's. So, we've always been about inspiring stories, something positive to look forward to. And we've had so much of fun. And sometimes now I feel really, like we don't give it enough time to the network, because it's a movement to pay it forward. But, hearing your stories is taking me back to how we started. So they say you see an opportunity at the end of when you look at things differently, there's always going to be an opportunity, or there's going to be a different light, and you've got to do what you've got to do. And that's the message we'd like to leave our viewers out there with. So I'm assuming, and I could be wrong because I haven't had the chance to speak to you all earlier, but you all mothers currently, like you all have children?
Yes.
Yeah.
So do you see a change on how your mother was with you and how you are as a mother with your children, the change in the dynamics, or is it the same? If you could throw some light on it. So whoever would like to go first.
That's a very interesting question, because I was actually thinking when this thing came up that, when we were young or staying in the family, or as I say, we are a sandwich generation, our mother spoke or our elders spoke and we listened, right? And here it doesn't happen the same way. It's a dialogue, right? So we cannot say this is to be done or whatever. You have to probably say that, do you think we should do it this way? Do you think it is a better proposition to do it this way? So I guess there is a difference in how you connect. But I guess that also has its pluses and minuses, because you learn something from them a lot all the time. I get from the kids. So, and which it has really helped me in my work as well, because I'm connected to a lot of younger generation. And yes, so I feel there is a difference in what we were brought up as and what we tell our kids to do.
Right. Well, I think change is the only constant, right? Every generation feels that. Probably our grandparents felt that, and our parents felt the way we are feeling right now. But I feel that the generation now, I have 3 children, and my oldest being 25, my youngest being 20. And I feel that even between them, they have a 3-year difference between each of them. Their perspectives are very different. So that means change does not limit itself to just generation, but even maybe the 2 to 3 years gap that kids in school or in college feel. And I feel that it's a very positive change. Of course, they do come with their set of issues, which even probably we went through when we were their age. But I am a very hopeful person, and the kids that I interact with, because having 3 kids, they're close friends, and then they keep coming to our house. And so I get to kind of interact with a lot of kids of that particular age, a lot of diverse kids from diverse economic backgrounds, because I also run a foundation, and it's a yoga foundation that kind of helps people connect with themselves through meditation, through things like that. And I think that the only issue that I feel that is the communication gap between the parents and the kids. And I feel that instead of, even though we have the same kind of information coming in, right, there still seems to be a lot of issue with the connection. Not every parent or not every child has a smooth relationship. And actually the only problem is how you look at it. Like how you said in the pandemic, how you look at something will put a light on it, so that perspective remains the issue, which I feel every generation goes through. But I feel more hopeful about this generation, honestly.
And your thoughts, Purvi?
So I think as when I grew up, like we had a traditional household, so there were some rules being a girl that, can't go out, you have to be back at certain time and things like that. I don't have that kind of an issue because I have 2 boys, but whatever, when they were small in the growing up age, like till 12 years of age, I kind of let them know who we are and what our culture is and where do we come from, basically instill in, whatever those thoughts. But once they kind of reach more of a teenage, you got to listen to them. So that's a bit of a different, you cannot really tell them what has to be done. But once I feel a little more confident because they know who we are and the type of culture we come from. So even today, if they have to make a choice, they will think twice about whatever. So you kind of, I feel that equipping them with, your kind of who you are and how does your family run, and then giving them a choice and kind of listening to their perspective also. So it just kind of hand in hand, yours and theirs, and kind of come to a situation which is a balanced situation.
Yeah. And as women, what are the challenges which you faced while growing up? And did your mothers have a choice in your career, the career path which you've all opted for? So how would you like to start, or who would like to start?
Yeah. So I I have come from a family that's very liberal in their outlook. The education and being out there was always there when I grew up. So I feel what really took me is that I was always inspired by the people over there. So we never had any gender biases in our family, or we were given the same opportunity as my brothers were given, or whatever the situation might be. So it was always a choice of career. We were speaking liberally about things. So it was a very open forum when we sat on our dining table and discussed what we wanted to do. So everybody's ideas were always spoken about. So in that sense, we would get the inspiration what other people are doing. But no, there was no difficulty as in growing up that I had to choose. There's no gender biases in our family, or it's a very liberal background that we grew in. So, and I guess the same thing we pass on to our kids as well. So everybody has a right to choose their career the way they want it. It's not how I would like it or my husband would like it.
Radhika, your thoughts?
My thoughts is that I never planned a career and it just happened. My mother's always been, for me, she's been my biggest support system. And I lost my dad, and my sister migrated to Canada, and then she was left alone. So I kind of, what anybody would do, shifted her to where I live, in an apartment not very far from where I live. She's always been there. So I have to make something, I have to take care of the kids, I have to run around, or if there are guests coming into home, and she's an excellent cook. So for me, the very fact that she's become the Annapurna of my house has made a huge difference. So because she's always there to help, and again, she's alone. So that made a difference. And of course, the fact that all the hard work that I've seen her doing, she's 73 now. She's probably more fit than I am. She really believes in, doing your work and getting up and moving, and, it's very orthodox Tamil Brahmin family where we get up at the dawn and follow all the festivals, and we are connected a lot with the Indic sciences. So for me, when I even made Anahata, it came as a very natural transition because it were those products that we make that I grew up seeing my mother and my grandmother make, So I have a direct, indirect connection with her as far as my career is concerned. Even both of us directly never planned it, but she's always been there for me.
Yeah, lovely. Any thoughts, Purvi?
Yeah, so I basically come from a family where, we were given equal opportunities, me, my brothers and everything, but certain things were there, as in, you cannot be out like late at night and just be back at home latest by 10 and things like that. So, which I think was quite okay because I was allowed to do everything that I want. I was allowed to wear everything that I want. And maybe sometimes my dad had an issue with those things, but I think my mother kind of managed everything very well in doing that. So she's been a super support for me. And of course, the way she's lived her life is been a great inspiration for me.
And as an entrepreneur and a mother, what do you think are the similarities between an entrepreneur and a mother? And what do you love being, love most about being a mom entrepreneur? So who'd like to go first?
Can I go first?
Yes.
They like two babies. So, so how you handle two babies, as in it's very nurturing. Plus, you kind of grow with it. Being a mom is an experience, and being an entrepreneur is also an experience. You're kind of curious. For me, in a profession like mine, you're kind of curious. Okay, you've done something, some treatment. So let's see how it unfolds with the patient, and that joy when they kind of come with, wow, it really worked well. And the same thing with the kids, when you see them grow, and I've just enjoyed every moment of everything, because I love kids and I work with kids also. So they've also, as my patients, they've also taught me a whole lot of things, including my kids. So it's kind of similarities would be something like this, that you just
Lovely thoughts. Your thoughts, Soha?
Yeah, I think I'll go next. Is that for me, I've gone in and out of not working and working, and then I end up working all the time. So now I have 3 businesses that I have started. I started with being a wedding design company, and then we did the Ra Foundation, which was a yoga related thing, and now I have Anahata. So I am running 3 parallel businesses, given the fact that I never wanted to work, But I just feel I agree a lot with what Purvi said. They're like our children. And I feel that passion to manage home and manage a business comes seriously because we love what we do. Like we love our children, no matter what they are and where they come from and what their ideologies. A mother is sarvopari, right? She imbibes all the values. She accepts everything. And the same things with the business, that, you might have envisioned something, but something else completely happens. I think women have the great power to be calm and then navigate through all of this effortlessly, like a river, like a woman can flow, So I agree with Purvi. It's really like having children.
I think women can really multitask a lot of things rather than men.
So I tell my team I have 3 babies. So one is of course Crosshairs, and then of course I had my own baby, and then the Women Inspiring Network was born. So it's like 3 babies.
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
So I feel that looking after a family with kids and having a business, an entrepreneur is sort of the same thing, because one side you're trying to juggle things in the house with your family, with different children who have different perspective, a husband who has a different perspective about things, and you're doing the same at work, where you are multitasking, trying to put all the people together who are working with you, whether you're subordinates, colleagues, or whoever they might be. You are just navigating the work either through the family or through the business. It is the same kind of a feeling. But having said that, I feel everybody in your space, whether it's your workspace, you get inspired by the people working there with you, or giving them the liberty to think liberally. And the same way, I think even at home, because of your kids, there is exchange of ideas, exchange of new ideas, and that inspires you as well. So I think I need the inspiration, and I get it at both the spaces, whether it's work or my family.
And what any message which you'd like to give your children, which your mother passed it on to you? Any message or advice you'd like to give your children, which was passed on to you? Or
Sure. So I've got 2 boys. I don't have any daughters. So I definitely want to tell my daughter-in-laws for sure that you have to be financially independent. Do what you want, whatever your husband can provide, not provide, though they are my boys, you have to be financially independent. I feel that is a really feel that gives you the sense of confidence. It's about yourself. If you're happy with yourself, you can pass it on to your family, whether it's your husband, your children. So I'm sure that's a message to my daughter-in-law for sure. So you need to be financially independent.
Yeah.
I am a little orthodox that way. So I am a big women empowerment person myself. I believe that I would never have been here, or my husband would never been where he is, if our moms didn't stay at home. I feel that they have done their bit to bring us up, to raise us, to prioritize us over everything. I feel it's a balance of both, is what I always tell my kids. I have 2 daughters and a son. And my daughter's, in fact, getting married next year, and we're busy in the wedding preparation for her. And she is a very inspiring girl. She's very well educated. But I've always taught both my daughters. My second one is still a little younger, but we always tell that there has to be a balance. And if push comes to shove, then a woman must take care of the family first. Because I feel that children, family, husband, in-laws, because I also live in a joint family, are your responsibility. A man can never do what a woman can, even if he tried. Even if he was going to do our work, we'd probably be shoving him away, saying, you know what, you go manage the other things. The kitchen, the home is my frontier. So I've said, if we can balance it out, if your education can be put into wisdom, it is more important than your education being put into finance, depending on your situations. Suppose you are married into a very comfortable family, then I would rather that you use your wisdom, your viveka, to how to bring the family together, the unity together, the society together. If it is dire straight for you where you have to work, then learn to balance it out. Find a partner or educate your partner to do both things so that you both can share equal responsibilities. So again, I personally feel Yatha Raja Tatha Praja, I am living that kind of a life, being in a joint family, being financially independent, but yet available at the drop of a hat into our homes. I'm sure you all are doing it too. So when the kids see that as daughters, I already see my older daughter planning it accordingly. That her in-laws are going to be in Delhi and she's going to be in Bombay, and the preliminary rounds of talks that we've had, I can see that it's the message is passed on, and I'm very happy about that.
Your thoughts?
Well, I also have 2 sons. I don't have a daughter. So, but sons are not less than daughters anyways, or daughters are not less than sons. So what I would just want to tell my sons, which I have been doing, is whatever difficulty comes, if there is a problem, just to look at the problem in such a way that you find a solution. Even if you don't find a solution, try it. Because if you don't do that, then it's going to remain a problem. And just go ahead with it. That can be imbibed which I have imbibed in my life. And if they can do that, well and good. So I give them complete freedom, and there's no rule or anything like that. But that's what I would want to tell them.
And since we are reaching the end of our session, I'd like you all to leave with a winning message to all those mompreneurs or mothers out there, or all those women who are hearing us from tier 2, tier 3 cities. So whichever direction you want to go, feel free to share a winning message, which is very, very inspiring for our viewers. So who'd like to start first?
I think my message would be to take each moment as it comes. Have a long-term goal. आपको क्या करना है, उसका एक vision अपने पास आप रखिए. उधर तक कैसे पहुंचना है. Take it one step at a time and use your intelligence. That would be my message.
I would like to say, just be yourself. Do what you like and love what you do. So
I feel that when you enjoy what you are doing, and when you're happy with your own self, whether you're working or whether you're looking after a house, if you're happy with yourself, then you translate that happiness to your children eventually. So I feel that is very important, to be happy with your own self in whatever you are doing.
So lovely. On that note, thank you all for joining us on the Mother's Day special episode from the Women Inspiring Network. It was truly, truly inspiring to hear all of you, and it brought back memories for me. And to all our viewers out there, if you feel someone has an inspirational story to share, feel free to DM us, and do visit our website at www.womeninspiringnetwork.com. So thank you so much, Soha, Purvi, and Radhika for joining us today. It was truly, truly a pleasure to have you all. And I would request each of you, and I'll ask someone from my team to send an email where you could give us one quote where we would be going out there and doing certain things out there. But thank you so much for joining us once again.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. It was a
Thank you so
pleasure.
much. Lovely. Thank you all.